Hi darlings, this is Christina at Makeup Box FYI, and today I come to you with a few new products. I am reviewing the Cle De Peau eyeshadow, and I got some thoughts. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I picked up a few things, and one of those few things is the Cle De Peau eyeshadow. Now, it took me a little while to pull the trigger, one, because this is definitely one of the most expensive eyeshadows I have reviewed that doesn't have more than 4 shades. Like Pat McGrath, we already know she's like $120, but this with the case will set you back $110. And while you don't have to use the case, I know me, I'm clumsy. I want something hard to keep these shadows protected. So I had to think about like what color story was I looking for. Ideally, what I use on a regular basis. Now you already know I have my love for the Dior eyeshadow in the Amber Pearl, so I didn't want something too similar to that because I want to use this up. So I chose something that's still available, probably because it's not as popular. But this is 09 in Coral Sands. So what initially drew me was this pretty pink color. I thought this is going to be so pretty, probably a little sparkly. This is a nice muted color, and it's got a little purple brown tone. Funny enough, I didn't actually know that this was a primer initially until I start doing a little more research. Now, I've been playing with this a little bit since I purchased it, and I'm going to save my thoughts for later, but I have to say, the eyeshadows are nice, you're going to see, but the primer, game changer. And I wish they would just package this particular primer in a singular form because I'd be all over it every day. I also have one comparison, which I did put in my shorts, but I will compare this to something very similar, but also still very different at the end of the video. Okay, so just stay tuned. Okay, so enough chit-chatting. I want to kind of go over what is very special about these eyeshadows. So Cle De Peau's clientele tends to be older, you know, more sophisticated, delicate lids, but they do have some models on there that are younger, which was interesting. One in particular was but Dakota Fanning. So she's one of the faces, and a few other younger celebrities. And so I thought that was interesting. They are trying to put a younger, fresher spin on this. I think because a lot of our makeup right now is more leaning toward natural, even in the younger ages, I think that appeals to a younger demographic as well. That being said, this is what Cle De Peau claims what makes these eyeshadows so special. It says, pigmented eyeshadow quad featuring skincare infused primer, 3 finely milled shades for a smooth, long-lasting finish with skincare benefits. So this is supposed to be like a hybrid of skincare and eyeshadow, which I thought was interesting. Me in particular, I'm not a big eyeshadow primer person. I don't feel, for me, that it makes a huge difference in many of the ones I've tried, so I just skip it. I use concealer and it works. That in particular didn't really faze me, but for many that could be, you know, something, because primers, what, 30, 40 bucks depending, and then you have to put the eyeshadow on top of it. This gives you a blending of the two. Now, the higher ingredients that they list are the premium oil and rich vitamin E oil. So it's got these oil enhanced type of features, and I have to say, of all the eyeshadows I've ever swatched, these were definitely the creamiest, bar none. I got no fallout, zero. They also weren't as pigmented, so I'm actually going to swatch these for you now, but they swatch so beautifully, just like butter. The primer doesn't really have a color, but I'm going to swatch it for you anyway. These are the colors: the primer, the pink shade, the brownish shade, and that purple shade. So kind of fair, I think, than I thought it was going to be. And it says Coral Sands, but I'm not getting coral so much, so that was a little weird. Like when I got the colors, I actually thought they weren't as awesome as I thought they would be in person. So I have used this, as you can see. It's not fresh, it's not new. Like I said, I've been trying it. So let's just go ahead and put on the primer all over the eye. That's how they recommend you do it. And in this case, I absolutely agree. The primer, like I said, is like game changing. So it doesn't really add a color, as you can see, to the eyelids, not really. It may give you a little something, but it's barely there. And it looks like all the primers are different colors depending on the quad you get, which I thought was interesting. So there's that. And these eyeshadow brushes I find are very helpful. So I do actually really like them. They're double-sided and they have different functions. But if you're traveling, you don't want a lot of brushes, these are great. So it says to start with the lightest color that's not shimmer. So the pink is a shimmer, so we're gonna go with this color here. And it says to put it all over the eyes. So as you can see, zero fallout. It's a really pretty color. This is considered a neutral palette, which I have to agree is neutral. And I'm okay with that. I do tend to like warm, but I got a lot of warm, so neutral works. Now move on to, it says to put the shimmer on. So we're gonna take another applicator brush. We're gonna use it on that pink color. And I think the pink was most disappointing because it's just not that pigmented to me. And once again, when I try these very, you know, soft color palettes, I'm always expecting more pigment because in truth, I love myself a shimmer. I love some pigment. And so this is not going to give any of that to me. And I've got to accept that. It's hard to, so it takes a minute. So that's the pink color. So far we have 3 of the shades. Take that purple color. It's like a dark purple brown, and we're just gonna put it around. So I'm kind of following what Cle De Peau kind of gives the guidelines for, but I can see how this would help with people who have a little bit of older lids, like hooded lids. Like I have very hooded lids, crepier skin, drier skin. Like it's a very smooth like palette, very smooth colors. And as you see, like I'm packing on this dark color, you don't see any fallout, no fallout. Not with the shimmers, not with the darker colors. That's why I already put my foundation on because I felt comfortable, like it's not gonna fall out and I don't have to worry about it. But I think that's pretty amazing, especially for people, like I said, who are older. And so that's why Cle De Peau is typically made for the more mature eye. So let's pack a little more. I'm going to use my finger of that pink color because I just want to give a little more brightness. And they even say you can take the primer and pop it over top to give like a highlighted look. So that's what I'm going to do. So I popped the highlighter on top. And then I'm going to take this little brush here and I'm going to put that on the inner corner here. Kind of marry the colors. So let me put this underneath the bottom lid because I just have to match. I'm just going to put this on the outer lash line. See, it's beautiful, very soft, very creamy, very buttery, and I built it up. So this is a very dramatic eye, but we can also do something that's a little less. So I'm going to show you how you could just do a very light, easy eye. Let's go into just this color here because we're going to do like kind of like a one and done situation. It'll be a little more than one, but not by much. So we're gonna take that brown color. Because you know when you have these eyeshadow palettes, you don't have to use all the colors. Rarely do I use all the colors at once. Oftentimes I'm mixing between palettes, which not everybody wants to do, but because I love just the artistry of makeup and the colors, I find a lot of joy with switching through and finding like my own kind of combination of color. That is that. But as you see, it leans very neutral. Now that I'm looking at the eyes, like this lip doesn't work, so BRB. So at this point, I just kept my 158 liner. I feel like that's neutral enough. I'm not putting anything on it right now. Okay, where were we? We are doing kind of one and done situation. So I'm just gonna pack, like I said, this brown color here. And then we'll put that pinky color in the center. And we are gonna leave that there. So this is that color. So you see how it's not very vibrant, like that pink barely shows up. It's there, but like not really. And then I'm gonna put that primer over top to give it a little sparkle. And then I'm gonna marry that color down below. And now you see we have our bold side and our very like calm side. So this is very easy daytime look, and this is a very beautiful like nighttime look. We have another thing we're going to be trying out. I have a new mascara, which is also game changing for me in particular. So we're actually going to do that together, okay? I'm just going to put on my eyeliner and then we're going to do the mascara together. Okay. Hi guys, this is me from the future. I was editing my video and I realized that at some point my microphone was not plugged in all the way, and you have about 5 to 10 minutes where you're not going to hear anything. It's just dead silent. So I apologize in advance. If I could re-record that particular portion, I would, but I don't have time. It's late in the day and it's nearly impossible for me to record during the week. I'll be sure to make sure that in the future that is plugged in all the way. So right here I'm explaining how I'm so amazed by the One Coat Wow Mascara by Huda Beauty. I will further explain that my Ride or Die, the Chanel Le Volume Mascara, and the Dior Iconic Overcurl, which I sometimes go between that one and the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lashes, but right now I'm into the Dior Overcurl. Anyway, I use both of those in conjunction to get the same results as the One Coat from Huda Beauty. So I'm going to show you a demonstration of that right now. Right now I'm going to show you what the wands look like. The bristles are very different, and I'm comparing the 3 different ones so you can see how they're kind of constructed. But right now I'm going to show you a demonstration of the Huda Beauty by itself. So you see how it just is giving me fullness, it's giving me length and volume. Now I have naturally curly eyelashes, so I can't say that it's going to curl for people who have straighter eyelashes, but for me I'm already curly, so it just enhances that. And I will show you on the other side the comparison with the Chanel Dior, and yeah, to compare between the two of them. So here I'm going to explain when I do go through a second coat of the Huda Beauty One Coat Wow Mascara, I do have to use a spoolie to kind of get the little bit of the clumpiness out, because it does kind of stick. My lashes will stick together. So I was just saying, use any type of spoolie or an older mascara wand to kind of comb through, and then it is absolutely fantastic. So now I'm showing you the comparisons on my right, your left. That is the Huda Beauty, and you see only one coat, where the mascara with the Chanel, the one,
you can see it's not quite as full. And that's where I'm going to bring in my Dior Iconic Over Curl so you can see with both coats how this performs. Now this is me just simply amazed that it took 2 coats for the Chanel and Dior to match the 1 coat of Huda Beauty. So now I'm going to match and do a second coat of the Huda Beauty. I'm just in amazement. So now I want to talk about the Bobbi Brown eyeshadow cream and highlighting stick. Love, love, love. It has been game changing to put in the lower waterline and the inner corner to just brighten up your eyes. I absolutely love this. It's so creamy, it's so pigmented, and I'm in love. Now I'm also going to show you that I did not remove my mascara initially because you want it to dry, and then I use my Q-tips and just clean up those little spaces. So much easier when you let it completely dry. Now I want to compare the Tom Ford palette. You see the bottom 4 is the Tom Ford Tropical Dusk. The top 4 above is the Cle De Peau Coral, Pink Coral Shells. You see they're similar in tones, but the textures are totally different. So you can see that even if you have the Tropical Dusk, it's still different enough. Show you one of my favorite one and done colors from the Tom Ford eyeshadow Tropical Dusk. I love this as a one and done, but this does have a lot of texture. And the Cle De Peau, if you look, has no emphasis of texture. Okay, 0. That is the big difference between these 2 palettes.
With that being said, love it. But let me tell you something, guys. Game changer status for me. This here primer, okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to put it where I put the Bobbi Brown, right here, okay? Put it there. Love me some Dior Pearl, right, eyeshadow palette. And I love it, love it, love it, but you know how I feel about Dior. They're a little dry. That's still true. So I'm going to put this just as a singular swatch right there, okay? It's hard to see, but I hope you can see like the little bit of texture, the little bit of dryness you see there, okay? Now I'm going to take that same color, okay, right here. I'm going to put it over top of that primer. And let me tell you something. It not only brightens up and gives the color just a little more shine, and I'm hoping the light is catching because I'm not sure if it is. This is a singular swatch, okay? This is with the primer. Excuse me? Did you just make my favorite eyeshadow palette that much better? I wore this as a single shadow yesterday. In love. I loved it even more. And I was like, oh my God, this primer here is game changing for other shadows that you may not want to enhance texture to, that are a little drier, like these new Dior formulas. So dry. You're going to have a smooth, creamy base. It's going to enrich the color. And you see the little bit of the finish, the little bit of the shine where you don't see that on this side. Guys, I say that to say game changer. If nothing else, I'm going to tell you this primer, Cle De Peau, please come out with this cream product in a primer form, singular. I don't care if it's $60, $70 because it's going to make all my eyeshadows, all of them, look that much better. So for that, these 2 are also game changer products for me. And I thoroughly enjoy. The brushes were even really easy to work with. I didn't use any of my other brushes. And I think it works best that way just because they are so emollient, because they are so creamy. So the Bobbi Brown highlighting stick, love, love, love. This is going to be just so game changing for my inner corner highlight as well as my under eye brightening. Love. I need to put a little something on. I use my Curve Dore. You know I love this. And I'm gonna link it below. And guys, I link everything I wear down below. Now this was a release last year, but I swear I saw it on like Saks or Bloomingdale's when I was Googling it, like pictures of it. And so I will link what I find down there because there may still be some supply if you're interested. But it's huge. It'll last you a really long time. Look at this. 0.56 ounces of product. Okay, you are not going to run through this anytime soon. So little Charlotte. So that is my review of the Cle De Peau palette and Coral Sunset, the Bobbi Brown dual-ended cream stick in the Platinum Pink and Antique Rose, and the Huda Beauty Wow Mascara. If you like what you saw, please give it a like. Comment below if you are planning to pick any of these things up. What did you think? Did you see the difference? I'm just so stoked. I love finding things that will help enhance my products that I have in my collection already. But guys, I appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. I love growing this community. It's so much fun. I appreciate all your love and support. Hope you have a great week, and I'll catch you in the next ones. Okay, darlings.